So I have two grandmothers that I love a lot. And the difference between them is the reason why I'm making this video. And one of them is 103 years old as I'm recording this, and she's still alive and healthy. My other grandmother moved into a nursing home and she passed away 6 months later. And they're both part of my family. And they too had completely different endings. Both of them had completely different endings. And so the 5 things that I'm going to talk to you about today are the 5 things I believe you must do to protect yourself at the age of 60 if you really want to live an independent life. You see, for a long time, I told myself the difference was luck. Some people get the good genes, some people don't. But the more I looked at it, I realized that luck really wasn't the issue. You see, I remember Thanksgiving at my grandma's house, and that breakfast on the day before was usually bacon and eggs and biscuits and even pancakes. And grandmama, that's what I called her, and granddaddy, that's what we all called them, grandmama and granddaddy, they would dip their biscuits in bacon grease. And soon after, I would have to leave the house because the smell of chitlins would just consume the entire house. And so now I never tried chitlins or dipped my biscuits in bacon grease, but everything else my grandma made was the reason everyone came to her house for Thanksgiving. And growing up, I never knew food that tasted so good could be so bad for your body. So here's what I noticed. Losing your independence almost never happens all at once. It happens in small pieces. And these are the pieces that nobody pays attention to until it's too late. And until there's a day where getting out of the chair starts getting too difficult. And it's the week somebody realized that they didn't call you and you didn't call anybody either. And it's the morning that you wake up with nothing on the calendar and nothing's been on it for months. And see, by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which one of those 5 pillars you're neglecting right now. And I call them the 5 pillars of independence. And this is coming from someone who watched this play out close in my own family. And honestly, if this video just helps one person, in their home for even, stay in their home for even one more year, this video is worth making. And so if you appreciate this type of content, my ask is this: please send it to someone you love and gently tap the like button. And it really helps videos like this get to more people who need it. And so with that being said, let's get into it right now. So one quick note before we start. I've worked with thousands of people in my careers as a school principal and also owning a business as a licensed retirement specialist. And this video is not medical advice. So before you change how you eat or how you train or how you talk with your physician, especially if you're managing a condition or taking medication, make sure that you have a conversation with somebody who's qualified to have that conversation with you. So, all right, with that, let's go ahead and get into it. The first pillar is nutrition. So your body needs the right fuel. And after 60, the definition of the right fuel changes. And so the core issue is really, it comes down to muscle. You see, you start losing muscle mass after you, even before you notice it. And after 60, that loss picks up speed unless you're doing something about it. And according to the Cleveland Clinic, muscle loss speeds up from the ages of 65 and 80, and you may lose as much as 8% of your muscle mass every decade. And so if you think about that, that adds up. And muscle mass is not a vanity issue. Muscle is what gets you off the toilet seat, okay? Muscle is what catches you when you trip on a curb. You can't go and hold onto muscle without enough protein. And so now what I want you to understand is that some of you may be thinking that you've eaten the same way for 50 years and you've been fine, but the amount of protein you've kept in your life at that time that was comfortable at 40 is not the amount that protects you at 70. And so your body starts to get less efficient at turning protein into muscle, which means you need more of it as you age, not less. So my approach is high protein, low carbohydrate way of eating. And the right version of that looks different depending upon your kidneys, your sugar, your medication. I mean, when I say sugar, I'm talking about your blood sugar. That's a conversation, obviously, between you and your doctor and not a guy on a YouTube video. But see, the bigger point is simple. See, food is not only about your weight. Food is maintenance on the body you're counting on to keep you independent. And so before I go to the second pillar, I need you to do me a favor. If you could drop a comment below and tell me at the end which of these 5 pillars you think are the weakest right now, I would like to know and hear about that, because I read every single comment, and the ones that people ask the most about are the ones I'm going to actually turn into full videos. So here's the second pillar, which is strength. And I want you to actually do something with me right now. So if you're sitting down, cross your arms over your chest and stand up without using your hands. Then sit back down the same way slowly. Could you do it? So the next question is, can you carry a bag of groceries from the car in one trip? Or could you lift a suitcase into the back of your car without anybody helping you? Can you climb a flight of stairs and still hold a conversation once you get to the top? These 4 questions tell you more about the next 10 years of your life than most of the numbers on your lab report. And here's where people get stuck. They hear strength training and they picture a bodybuilder or a 25-year-old filming himself in the mirror. And that's not what I'm talking about at all. See, strength training after 60 is maintenance on the equipment you used to run your own life. You're not training for a competition. You're training so that standing up and getting off the floor or climbing your own stairs never becomes a thing that decides where you live. And the encouraging part is this works late. In a study of healthy adults over 85, just 12 weeks of resistance training increased quadricep muscle size by 11% and leg strength by 46%. So you see, the good thing is that your muscles don't check your birth certificate before they respond. The third pillar is mental health and mental sharpness. See, your brain needs training the same way the rest of you does. And training means difficulty. That looks like learning something genuinely new, solving problems without obvious answers, reading things that make you work a little, and talking with people who see the world a little bit differently than you do. You see, here's the part that people don't want to hear. Doing the same crossword every morning for 20 years is not training your brain. That's practice. See, your brain adapts to difficulty the same way your muscles do. So the moment something gets comfortable, it has stopped doing so much for you. And the emotional side matters just as much. Depression in older adults gets waved off constantly as a normal part of aging, but it's not normal, and it's also treatable. So if you've been feeling flat or hopeless for weeks at a time, that's worth a real conversation with your doctor. And the same as a symptom in your chest would be, okay? So the mental part of your life and the physical part are just as important. Living longer is a fine goal, but being present enough to actually enjoy those extra years is a better one. Quick break. So a lot of what I cover here needs more room than a single video gives it. So checklists, questions worth bringing to your doctor, the things that I would want my own family to have in front of them. So if you want any of that information, check the description in the pinned comment below for some helpful resources on this topic. So the fourth pillar is purposeful relationships. You see, some people hear the word independent and they picture doing everything alone, never asking anybody for anything. And that's not independence. That's isolation. And isolation is one of the fastest ways to lose your independence you're trying to protect. So you can live a life entirely on your own terms and you still need other people. You need friends and family and neighbors and some kind of community. You need people you can laugh with, people you can be honest with, and people you notice when who notice you when you don't show up. The last one isn't small. See, for someone living alone, the person who notices is often the difference between a fall being an inconvenience and a fall being a catastrophe. And here's what makes this harder after retirement. For most of your life, relationships came built in. You saw people at work, whether you planned it or not. And then that structure disappears and nobody replaces it for you. So after 60, relationships have to become something you do on purpose. You have to make the call instead of waiting for the call. You have to put it on the calendar. You have to join the thing. See, nobody's going to build your social life for you, and waiting to be invited is how good people end up alone. And by the way, if you have someone in your life, maybe it's a spouse or a sibling or a parent, maybe it's a friend who's heading into the stretch of life without a plan for any of it, please send them this video. It's an easier conversation to have when somebody else says it out loud first. So, which brings me to the fifth pillar. Now, I think this is the one that quietly decides everything else, which is meaning and purpose. Retirement creates a problem nobody warned you about. You see, for 40 years, work handed you a schedule, responsibilities, goals, a group of people, and a reason to get out of bed. And then one Friday afternoon, it stops. And all of that goes all away at the same time. See, the first few months feels like a vacation, and then the vacation ends, and the question shows up. What now? So maybe the answer is volunteering or a small business you've always wanted to try. Maybe it's your grandchildren or traveling or finally learning the thing you never had time for. Maybe it's teaching someone else that you spent a career trying to figure out. Maybe your purpose doesn't have to impress anybody, okay? It doesn't have to make a lot of money. It just has to matter to you. And it has to be strong enough to get you out of bed on a Tuesday morning when no one's watching and no one would notice if you stayed there. You see, my 103-year-old grandmother still gets a chance to spend time with her children who are in their 70s and 80s, and her grandchildren, and her great-grandchildren, and her great-great-grandchildren. You see, those are the 5 pillars of independence: nutrition, strength, mental sharpness, relationships, and purpose. And that's why I don't think healthy aging should be about blood pressure, weight, or how many steps you walk today. See, those things do matter, but they're just measurements. They're not the goal. The bigger question, the one I want this channel to keep coming back to, is this: what will allow you to keep living your life on your own terms? So, as I mentioned before, my living grandmother is 103, and my other grandmother died around in her late 70s of Alzheimer's after living with diabetes. And I can't honestly tell you that one set of habits explains why their lives turned out so differently. You know, it could be genetics, it could be disease, and probably luck matters too. But I can tell you that diabetes is a recognized risk factor for dementia, and their very different paths taught me to take seriously the parts of aging that we can influence. And so this channel is going to be about maximizing your ability to live the years you get. If you start with one pillar this week, start with protein. It's the one most people are furthest behind on, and it's the easiest to fix. And that's exactly what my next video is about: how much protein you actually need after 60 and what's happening when you don't get enough of it. So please subscribe so it shows up for you when it goes live, and I will see you on the next one.